Morning, everybody. Good morning. Happy 75th anniversary. We are honored today to have the mayor of the city of Springfield, the Honorable James O. Langfelder.
Thank you.
And we have our alderman from Ward 2, Alderman Shawn Gregory is with us as well. So I wanted to take a few minutes just to give a little bit of history about the Mary Bryant home. Some of it may be the first time the mayor and our alderman has heard the story about Mary Bryant, but I think it's definitely something that we all need to know. So Mary Bryant was born in 1854 in Chicago. At the age of 9, was struck with a disease that took her eyesight. So her parents sent her to the Jacksonville School for the Blind, which now called ISVI, where she went through grade school through high school. And upon graduation, while she was a student at the school, both of her parents passed away. So upon graduation from ISVI, or the Jacksonville School for the Blind, she didn't have a place to go. She didn't have a home to go back to. She went to the superintendent of the school and said, "I'm 18 years old, what do I do? I don't have a home." So the superintendent hired Mary as a dorm mother at the school, and that is a position that Mary held for the next 54 years. Her last pay raise was given in 1910, and they paid her $10 a month. $10 a month. Upon Mary Bryant's death in 1925, she left a note to the Alumni Association of the school challenging them to take the money that she set aside, which totaled $3,500. If you can imagine making $10 a month and when you die have a savings of $3,500, and in today's numbers that's about $75,000. But she challenged the Alumni Association to build a home for blind women, the home that she never had. So the alumni took on that challenge, and in 1946 bought and built the first home here in Springfield at the corner of 4th and Scarrett, across from Temple Israel, on the southwest corner of 4th and Scarrett. So they were there from 1946 to 1948 and then moved to Lawrence Street. The building is still there. It's now the St. Monica's Home for Unwed Mothers. And that was our second home from 1948 to 1964. And in 1964, they bought the I forget the name of the mansion on the corner of 5th and Allen Street. And they were at 5th and Allen Streets from 1964 until this facility was built in 1983. In 1965, I believe, is when they started taking blind men. But in 1981 or 82, somebody died, left the home some money, and the board, I think about the same time, the city of Springfield, thanks Jim, condemned the building because it didn't have fire exits and sprinkler systems. So we were kind of forced our hand to build this facility, which we moved in here in July of 1983. So I think Ellen Boxrud is our only resident here that came from the old home. And I'm going to embarrass Sue. Liederbrand is the only employee that's still with us that came from the old home. So that's the history of Mary Bryant. But I think what I'm most proud of, other than the service that this board and the staff provide to our residents, is the fact that for 75 years the home hasn't taken any state or federal funding. It's all been raised through donations of fine people and from the rent that we have to charge to the residents to live here. So it's a great accomplishment that we've gone through the last 75 years. And in my 21 years as the executive director, I think that what I'm most proud about is the quality of the staff that we've been able to hire to keep you guys healthy and happy and spoiled. Yeah, definitely. I know we just went through the worst pandemic in over 100 years, and I deeply, deeply, deeply commend Jane and the nursing staff for keeping us all safe and all healthy, so we're able to all be here to celebrate this 75th anniversary. Thank you, nursing staff, very much. Not to say that the rest of the staff didn't do anything. You know, it was a hassle the last year and a half serving meals in our apartments and being locked down and being confined to our apartments and wearing masks and limited access to walking the corridors and stuff. But you know, behind the scenes, we've got a great housekeeping and maintenance staff that kept the facilities clean by wiping down the handrails, wiping down the phones, wiping down the doorknobs. Every shift, we did this for a year. So all that played a part in us getting through this pandemic as well. I want to thank the housekeeping and maintenance staff as well. And the other staff members, just thank you for everything you've done to get us to this point. So at this point, I would like to introduce to you the mayor of the city of Springfield, who has something to share with us. So the Honorable James Langfelder.
Well, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
And what a great day to be part of this great institution for Springfield. And in Springfield, it's all about family. Actually, I first came to the Mary Bryant home, or got to know the Mary Bryant home through my father when he was streets commissioner back in the day, and then became mayor and coming here for the chili suppers and things of that nature. But Mary Bryant home is really an extension of Springfield. When you look at Springfield, you know, we're really, our strength is our people and our families, and Mary Bryant home is a family to itself that really contributes to our community. So we thank you and congratulate you on your 75 years. But with any family, you have to have a great head of household, right? And I think Jerry Curry, for the last 20-some years, has been a great head of household here at the Mary Bryant home. So Jerry, I'd like to thank you for your great work. Especially the staff. It's not taken lightly what we all went through. I mean, it's very challenging. And I'll read a proclamation that outlines the challenging time Mary Bryant went through. But all of you have gone through very challenging times. And really hats off to the residents and the staff of Mary Bryant home, because it's my understanding not one, knock on wood, case of the virus had broken out like other places. So really it's due to your good diligence and being respectful of one another and what you had to do to work together to get through this pandemic together. So congratulations and thank you for what you've done. So with that, I'll read the proclamation. Some of it will be redundant, but in times like this, it's really important to recognize how far we've come and then how we get to the success of today that we strive for currently and in the future. And it reads, whereas today we gather to celebrate the remarkable work of the Mary Bryant Home for the Blind and Visually Impaired and reflect back on their incredible journey over the past 75 years. And whereas born in 1854, Mary Bryant was a young girl from Cook County who contracted scrofula, an illness that attacked her lymphatic system at the age of 9 and took much of Mary's vision. At 14, Mary's family enrolled her at the Illinois Institution for the Education of the Blind in Jacksonville, Illinois, which today is known as the Illinois School for the Visually Impaired. And whereas in 1869 a fire broke out at the school, and capable of distinguishing light from dark, Mary evacuated the completely blind students, saving many lives. And whereas graduating in 1878, Mary returned to work at the school in 1892 until her death in 1921, making only $10 a month. On this modest living, she managed to save $3,589.89, the equivalent of approximately $75,000 today, and requested that a safe home for blind women be created with her endowment. And whereas it took nearly a quarter of a century before the Mary Bryant Home Association was formed, and the first home opened in June 1946 at 1001 South 4th Street in Springfield, housing 7 women, the demand grew, and a new home at 107 East Lawrence Street was purchased to house 20 women, along with expanding services, including the ability to offer nursing services in 1950. And whereas the need for the Mary Bryant services did not stop, and with the help of the philanthropic organization, the 25 Club, a new home was built at 1100 South 5th Street to accommodate both blind men and women for 23 years. And whereas in 1980, determining that building a home from the ground up would allow a design emphasis on resident safety and daily needs, property was purchased at this location, 2960 Stanton Street, and construction was completed in 1983. Renovations then occurred in 2002 to create a supportive living community, which was completed 2 years later. And whereas today 34 residents between the ages of 23 to 93 call this wonderful place home, and Springfield is fortunate to have one of only 2 supportive living facilities in the United States specifically designed for blind and visually impaired people. And whereas since opening its doors 75 years ago, the Mary Bryant Home was founded on the belief that blindness or being visually disabled should not be a barrier to enjoying a happy, healthy, and productive lifestyle. As Margaret Mead stated, "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that has ever done it." Now, therefore, I, James O. Langfelder, Mayor of the City of Springfield, Illinois, together with our City Council and Alderman Shawn Gregory, do hereby proclaim Thursday, June 24th, shall be the Mary Bryant Home for the Blind and Visually Impaired Day in the City of Springfield. On behalf of our citizens, thank you for your commitment, compassion, forward-thinking leadership in order to make Springfield home for everyone. So congratulations on your 75th anniversary, and congratulations, Gary. Great work.
Want to go in front of the mic?
Yep, we'll go in front. Okay. Oops, sorry.
That's all right. I'll hold my breath.
Moment, I'd like to introduce Alderman Shawn Gregory. He's a great advocate for all residents, but especially Mary Bryant Home. And Shawn had his own path to the City Council. It wasn't an easy one, but we're fortunate to have him as a representative of Ward 2, which you're part of. So, Alderman Gregory, we appreciate you being here.
Thank you, thank you. I come to greet you. Good morning, and I apologize. I was a little late. I hustled some mulch off the back of the truck to get here because this was special to me. I wanted to ensure that I came over and greeted you all for this wonderful event. 75 years. Me being young, I find that so amazing that an organization can serve a community like this for 75 years with not much help from government entities and things of that nature, but from the love of the community for you. So I salute the staff of this facility, the nursing staff, and people who every day just work to keep the building running. As I leave this place, I assure you, one of the things that I heard that made me smile is how your director tries to spoil you. And one of my jobs is to try to spoil our constituents. And as I leave this place, I will look at an issue that I was made aware of with some sidewalks, and I'll scan the area as I look to spoil you as well and make sure that you have all the things that you need from a city's perspective. So please never hesitate to reach out to me day or night. I'm always available, and I will immediately address your issue and spoil you as well. Thank you.
I wanted to address that we like to thank several of the board members that made it here today. So Jesse Rogers is with us today. Joe Brokamp, the Home's treasurer, is with us today. I think that was it. So a lot of what we do, that is what they allow me to do. So staff, I would ask, maybe thank them on their way out for the gifts that they've given to us here lately.